Hey guys, Teresa here. Welcome back to my channel, Lost My Thread. I am very excited today to be starting a brand new Clash of the Pattern series, the Fancy Pants Fracas. I am always very excited to be able to introduce a new Clash of the Pattern series. I know there are a lot of you out there who love watching these videos too. For anybody who is not familiar, the idea is that I'm going to be taking multiple sewing patterns for the same style of garment and then putting them up against each other in a series of rounds to figure out which one is my favorite. I've gone for the Fancy Pants Fracas because I've been gravitating more towards wearing blouses and dress shirts in my wardrobe, and I feel like the trousers that I currently have, like cotton twill corduroy trousers, they just kind of dress the whole look down, and I want to have something that's more of like a dressier style pants that I feel like will elevate the look. So I've picked out some sewing patterns that all have some things in common. Today I'm just going to be introducing the patterns, so telling you which ones I've chosen, talking through all the specific design details and how they differ from each other. I will also be telling you which fabric that I'm pairing with them. In round one, the next video in this series, I'm going to talk about the fit. So I'm going to make muslins of each of them and just looking at the finished garment measurement, see how the fit looks just right out of the packet. The second round, I'm going to be looking at the instructions, the construction method, talking about how easy they were to get put together, how satisfying, how I felt the overall instructions were. And then in the third round, the final video of the series, I will be crowning the winner, showing you the finished pants, talking about how I feel like the style and the design work for me in my wardrobe, and telling you which one I think is my favorite. So let me introduce you to the three contestants for this challenge. The first is the Taylor Trousers by BF Patterns. The second is the Mitchell Trousers by Closet Core Patterns. And the third are the Rose Pants from Made by Rae. Now, all of these have definitely some bits in common you will probably see straight away. They are all high-waisted. They are all wide-legged, which is very much the style that I'm going for, that I'm really enjoying. And I feel like works really well in the spring and the summer for a pant. And they also have pleats at the front as well. So those are the bits that make them the same, but there's quite a lot that makes them different. And I'm going to start from the waist and work my way down. I'm going to start with the Mitchells. So these do not have a waistband. They are flat at the front and at the back. I feel like it reminds me a bit of the look of the Pietras, which is also by Closet Core Patterns, and I really do like the look of the front of that trouser, especially with something tucked in. I think it looks really nice. It looks very sleek as well, quite streamlined, and you've got a waistband facing on the inside. This also has a really special detail, which is the adjustable waist straps. So these ones you can make tighter or looser depending on how tight you want the trousers to be, which I think is so nice for somebody who has a bit of a fluctuating body. I mean, even just like one day of my cycle to the next might be a little bit different. So I like being able to make them a little bit tighter or looser. They also have a zipper fly with either a button closure or a hook and bar closure. The Taylors do have a waistband and also do have a zipper fly with a button or hook and bar closure. But the thing that's special about these is there is a hidden elastic at the back waistband. So you really can't see it when you look at the back of these. The idea is it's there to minimize gaping, but I also think it would then give you a little bit of adjustability to allow it to expand as you expand when you sit down. So this one has the most ease in the waistband. It has 2 inches of ease, which is quite a lot for a waistband, which in my opinion means that I think that elastic is actually going to be quite useful and allow my body to change circumference when I sit, which most bodies do, and I know mine does, so nothing should be digging in, and I'm hoping we'll make these extra comfortable. Rose has a flat front and elastic back waist. So I know from myself from wearing similar trousers and skirts like this that I do like a flat front elastic back waist. I feel like things look really nice from the front. It doesn't look like you're wearing elastic waist pants. And then from the back, I think it really does depend on like how gathered that is and what type of fabric you're going to be using. But I feel like it looks quite cool as well as being incredibly comfortable. So I'm excited that all of these have a little bit of adjustability, which I'm hoping is going to make them all comfortable and ones that I'll want to reach for. Moving down the front of the trousers then to the pleats. Rose has 2 pleats on either side and they look pretty evenly spaced from like the center out to the side seam. And there's something about these pleats, they look quite small, and I don't know if it's to do with the depth of the pleat or where they're placed, but I think they look quite cute. There's something about them, and I think it will obviously depend on the type of fabric that you're using, how much bulk you're gonna end up with, but being higher on the waist, I feel like that should be a nice shape for me. They also have a slash pocket at the hip. Tailor also has double pleats, so 2 per side, but they're a little bit more spaced out, so they're not quite so close to the center. And the fact that they're not right in the center, I think is gonna then add less bulk to the tummy area, which is a plus. They do look like a deeper pleat as well. I haven't measured these, right? I'm just looking at how the proportions look, but it looks like a nice placement and a nice depth of pleat. These also do have a hip slash pocket as well. Mitchell just has one single pleat, but it is quite a long pleat. It's definitely a very deep pleat, and it's a bit angled more out to the side or out towards the hip, and it's actually integrated in the hip slash pocket. This is definitely one of these things. Closet Core often does this, where they have some really interesting and unique design details that I am not seeing anywhere else, and I'm always really excited to see how this actually comes together and how it works, because it looks really cool. It looks really clean, and I feel like that's going to be a really nice professional looking pair of hands. Turning around to the back then, as I said, Rose has an elastic back waist, but it's not one thick band of elastic, it's 2 small rows, and I'm not honestly sure how I feel about that. It does say as an alternative you can have 1 thick band of elastic, but the idea is that you make little channels that you insert 3/4 inch elastic through. I'm curious to try that because I have done it with a big thick band, so I might as well see what the smaller band looks like, and perhaps there'll be a little bit more just flexibility when I bend and sit down. I'll be curious to find out. Mitchell has darts at the back, and I am somebody who I have a fair difference between my waist and hip, so I generally do need some darts for pants to sit well at the back, so I appreciate that those are there. These also have an optional welt pocket, and of course you can make as many welt pockets as you want. I mean, 2 is probably going to be the max for most people, but they give you the option of having no welt pocket or just having a single one. And I feel like just overall, with quite the modern look of these pants, I kind of like the idea of a single welt pocket. That's what I think I'm going to do. Tailor also has some darts at the back, so I think between that and the elastic at the back waistband, everything should be sitting really nice and flush against my lower back, which I really appreciate. This one also comes with either welt pockets or patch pockets. I think the welt pocket makes more sense with the pleated version of these pants, with the version that I'm going to be making, so I think I'll go for a double welt pocket on these. I always appreciate when a pattern gives me a lot of bang for my buck, so I wanted to look at the options that I got for each of these patterns. The Tailor trousers have both the pleated version and an unpleated trouser. That is where I think the patch pockets probably make a bit more sense, and that's what they suggest. For the pleated version, they say welt pockets, hook and bar closure at the front, and then for the unpleated to have the patch pockets and the button front closure, which makes total sense to me. I'd be quite excited if I do like the fit of these to maybe have a different style option, because you don't always want pleated pants, and frankly I'm not even sure how much I'm gonna love pleated pants. I sure hope I do because I'm making a lot of them, but it's just really nice to have the other option as well. Mitchell comes with either a wide leg or a more tapered leg. Now, the tapered leg, they're not like a super tight fitted tapered leg, but they do have that tapered shape, and I feel like do give quite a different look. The tapered leg ones are also a little bit shorter. They're meant to be ankle length, whereas the wide leg are more of like a full floor length. The waist strap as well is optional, so I definitely want it in my version, but you could just leave it off completely for a more streamlined look. Rose comes in 3 lengths. You can do the long length, which is what I'm going to be doing. You could do a cropped length, or you could do the shorts view. And something I really like is that the shorts version, it's not just chopping it at short length. It actually has a bit of a different shape at the bottom of the shorts, which I feel like is important to make them look like proper shorts. And I feel like this one is definitely the style I would choose if I was going to make shorts out of any of these. Rose has the smallest size range from 34.5 to 59-inch hip. Tailor trousers come from a 35 to a 65-inch hip, whereas the Mitchell trousers come from a 33 to a 63-inch hip. Now, I do want to just take a bit of a step back and talk about my overall impressions of these patterns just now going in, having never touched these patterns before. The Tailor trousers, I feel like the name is very fitting. They are the most just classic Tailor trouser of the lot of them. They have some really nice professional looking details. I have made one BF pattern before, and that was the Bestie bag. I really love that bag. I really enjoyed making it. The instructions were great. So I have to say I'm going in with some high expectations, but I appreciate that garments are very different from bags and they have to fit your body. So I'm hopeful, but just cautiously optimistic probably. I think the rows are the most like casual, comfortable looking ones. I feel like they're going to be comfortable one way or another. Whether I like the style is kind of its own question, but I've never made a Made by Rae pattern before. And so it's always fun to try a new pattern company. I may find a new favorite, you never know. And I have to say, just like glancing through these instructions, I'm feeling very excited. There was some really cool stuff in there that I was appreciating seeing, and I look forward to telling you guys about it when I get to that stage. The Mitchells, I feel like, are the coolest looking ones of these all. I feel like there's like a real casual coolness to these pants that I think fits with a lot of closet core patterns. Now, I do have to say, I have done closet core patterns in my Clash of the Patterns before. I think twice, 2 pairs of pants, and they were the winners. So I feel like they're kind of the one to beat. I know that their pants block fits me well, so it feels like a bit of an unfair edge, but I have to say these are also the ones that where the style is just that little bit more out of my like typical what I would go for comfort zone. So it does also feel like potentially the most risky. So either way, I'm curious to see how these ones come together. So let me show you the fabric that I'm going to be pairing with each of these. Now, going into this, I had an idea of the kind of fabric that I wanted. I wanted something with some drape to it, but I also wanted something with a little bit of weight, with a little bit of body, so that it would kind of move and swish with a wide leg. I really do enjoy that for a wide leg pant, and I feel like it is so great for the spring and summertime. And so I wanted some solid fabrics that I knew would fit that bill. This is a sand-washed tencel twill that I got from Sew Me Sunshine. It really does have wonderful drape, wonderful movement to it, but it does have that little bit of extra body being a twill. So you can see it really has a bit of a bounce to it. The color is steel blue, and I really do like this color. I feel like it's possibly a little more gray than it's appearing. Actually, I think that's pretty good, what you're seeing on the screen. And I think this will be a really versatile color. And I've decided that I'm going to use this one for the rose pants. I feel like something about that style with the blue, it just kind of makes sense to me. Maybe there's just a bit of a softness, a little bit of delicate femininity. I think it's going to work really well. I also have this sand-washed lyocell twill. So tencel twill, lyocell twill, they're the same kind of fabric. They're just different brandings. I will say both of these fabrics, they have very much the same properties. So they have a good amount of movement for sure. They have really nice drape to them. And I feel like, again, it's got that nice bit of bounce to it that I really like. This color is moss green, and again, I feel like the color is such a good one for my wardrobe, and I feel like it will go with a lot of things, particularly that I have in my spring and summer wardrobe. I think it would pair really nicely, and I think for these ones, I want to go for the tailor trousers. I feel like they would suit that style of pant really well. And my final fabric is this viscose twill fabric. I got this from a D-stash. Now this definitely, as you can see, it's got nice drape to it. It does have that good bounce that I like. There is more of a softness to this fabric than the other ones. There's almost like a bit of a crispness to those. The feel of this is not quite as cool either, and I feel like it's going to give a softer look to the pants overall. Now, you might remember if you saw my Me Made May videos, I had a whole thing where I'd seen these trousers in something I'd pinned on Pinterest, and I was obsessed with the color of those trousers and really wanted to get something similar in my wardrobe. And I was asking people to tell me, like, what would you call that color? A lot of people said ochre. Definitely there was some mustard, chartreuse. But the fact is, it was kind of in between them all. And when I saw this fabric on a D-stash, I was really hopeful that it would end up being what I wanted. And guys, I'm so happy. I love this color. It may not be exactly the same, but it's very much giving the vibe that I was excited about. Now, I did have some reservations about using this fabric for the Mitchells, and that is just because the cover photos, the main image for this is a very similar fabric, and I don't love using the same kind of fabric that the model shots have just because I feel like it feels less creative. It feels like I just like saw a pair of pants in a shop and bought them. Whereas I like that in sewing, you can be a little bit more creative and a little bit more original. But well and truly, guys, I really wanted to make something with this fabric, and looking at all the patterns that I've got and the fabrics that I got, these just made sense for the Mitchells. They just did. So I am really excited to see how these work as a pair of trousers, and hopeful that I can start to capture that look that I was pinning on Pinterest. I hope you guys are as excited as I am to see how all of this plays out. Like I said, the next video in this series, I'm going to be looking at the fit of them. You'll be seeing me in muslin, in calico fabric, and seeing how the initial fit test works. The next video after that in the series, I'm going to be talking about how they come together, what the level of instructions were like, and in the final video, you get to see the big reveal and see the overall style silhouette of these pants and see which one is my favorite. Please do give me a like if you enjoyed today's video. I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. Certainly if you want to see the follow-ups, that's the best way to do that for sure. Please let me know your thoughts on these patterns, on these styles in the comments down below, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye!